Welcome. Hello everyone. In this video, we will be talking about inflation and related phenomena. So let's look at what is inflation. So normally when there is increase in price, we say that it is inflation. And do you know that whenever price increases, the value of money decreases. So inflation is a general increase in price and fall in the purchasing value of the money, that is called as inflation. So inflation is generally denoted as general increase in price of goods and services. So before we go ahead, let me introduce myself. My name is Krunal P. Thakur, and I am an educator for civil service examination conducted by UPSC, and I am teaching for the civil services since 2011, and I am teaching and mentoring students online as well as offline. So first of all, inflation. So we know that whenever there is increase in general price level, then it is called as inflation. And if the price level is increasing, the normal term is inflation. But if the price level is increasing but it is very slow, then we can call it as a disinflation. So disinflation is also increase in price of goods and services, but it is a slow rate, or sometimes it is just beyond a normal rate. So beyond normal rate, the price is increasing, it is inflation, and near the normal rate it is disinflation. And if price is decreasing beyond normal level, then it is called as deflation. So inflation and deflation are a reverse concept, are opposite concept, and in between we have this concept called disinflation. So price is increasing, it is called as inflation. Price is increasing in slow rate, then it is called as disinflation. Or price is decreasing but it is above the normal rate, then it is also called as disinflation. But price is decreasing, price of goods and services are decreasing beyond, like below the normal rate, then we can call it as a deflation. So whenever there is inflation, price of goods and services are increasing, but in that comparison, the value of money is decreasing. In disinflation, value of money is depends on the price increasing, then it is the decrease in value of money. And in deflation, surely the price is decreasing, then value of money is increasing. Yes. So what cause inflation? So there are causes of inflation because of which the price is increasing. The first cause of inflation is demand pulled inflation. What is demand pull inflation? So wherever there is increase in demand for goods and services compared to the supply, then what happen? The inflation, like price increases of goods and services, and that increase in price of goods and services is called demand pull inflation. On the other hand, if the cost of production is increasing and because of that inflation is increasing, then the phenomena is called as cost push inflation. So the basic difference between the two is, like, if demand is increasing and because of that price of goods and services are increasing, it is called as demand pull inflation. And on the other hand, if cost is increasing and then because of that the price is increasing, it is called as cost push inflation. Now there are third phenomena also, like this which is called as built-in inflation. Here you can see that built-in inflation. Here what happened? Workers, sometimes the union of workers expect that their salary should be increased. So they try to get increase in salary. The salaries are increases, and because of that cost of production are increasing. So price is increases. So, and in this way, if price are increasing, then it is called as built-in inflation. So it is also called as wage push inflation. So there are some factors which are because of which inflation is increasing or decreasing, and they are getting the name from that. Like if demand is increasing, then price is increasing, then it is called as demand pull inflation. And if cost is increasing and then inflation is increasing, then it is called as cost push inflation. And because of the wages of the worker, increase in wages of the worker, and then price is increasing, it is called as built in inflation. There is also another definition which is called as stagflation. What is stagflation? So basically it is associated with recession phenomena. So what happens sometimes, prices are increasing, inflation is happening, and in that time employment is decreasing or unemployment are increasing. That phenomena is called as stagflation. So basically here growth is decreasing, means GDP is decreasing, unemployment are increasing, demand are decreasing, and inflation are increasing. That phenomena is called as stagflation, means economy is in the stagflation mode. So here we can say the increase in inflation during recession is called as stagflation, or we can also say that when there is employment is decreasing, means unemployment is increasing, with increase in inflation, we can say that this phenomena is called as stagflation. So in stagflation, what happened? Basically, we can say that unemployment is increasing and inflation rate is increasing. Both are increasing, and it is called as stagflation. Like what happened in Zimbabwe in 2019, that stagflation dilemma. What is commodity inflation? So it is also, commodity inflation is also called as demand pull inflation. So what happened when the price of commodity increases, because of that the price level are increasing, that is called as commodity inflation. So price of commodity rises over period of time, that phenomena is called as commodity inflation. What is deficit induced inflation? So like government, we have government expenditure, and in comparison to that, government receipt, government income are also there. And whenever in 1 year, particular year, expenditure is more than income, then what we get? We get deficit. Now this deficit, if we fulfill this deficit by the government printing more money, like government with the help of RBI printing money, and then they are fulfilling the expenditure, means fulfilling the deficit, that deficit is called, and that deficit is increasing inflation, that is why it is called as deficit induced inflation. So this phenomena of printing money is also called as Hinarth management. So if somebody asks you what is Hinarth management, you can say that it is nothing but deficit induced inflation is called as Hinarth management. Because when government spend more, if government spend more, what happen? Deficit is increasing, and that spending reach to the people in the form of subsidy or on any other public expenditure, any other government expenditure. What happen? The purchasing power of people increases, because of that demand increases, and there is an inflation, and that is why it is called as demand, that is why it is called as deficit induced inflation, or this phenomena is also called as Hinarth management. Next inflation is the credit inflation. So when credit creation capacity of banks increases, and because of that, what happen? They are distributing more credit to the people. Now purchasing power of people increases. If purchasing power of people increases, that results into the increase in price phenomena, that is called as inflation. So this inflation is called as credit inflation. Why? Because it is generated because of the credit creation capacity of the banks. That is why it is credit inflation. Hence, another concept is inflation spiral. What is inflation spiral? So what happened? Every phenomena is correlated here. Like if price increases, you can see here the circle, like price increases, because of that cost of living of people increases. So the workers, what they are doing, they demand to increase in wage rate. So if wages increases, what happen? Cost of production increases. If cost of production increases, what happen? Price increases. If price increases, cost of living rises. Cost of living rises, wages are increasing. Wages are increasing, cost of production increases, and that is why the spiral is going on. So this type of inflation is also called as wage price spiral or inflation spiral phenomena. So that are some of the phenomena. Another phenomena is called as deflation spiral. What is deflation spiral? So it is reverse of inflation spiral. What happened in this? Like if unemployment is increasing, if we take from here, like unemployment increases, because of increase in unemployment, less spending on goods and service, because people are not having employment, And when people are not having employment, they don't have the money. If they don't have money, they will spend less. If they spend less, then what happen? In the market, the supply become oversupply. There is no demand, only supply are there. It is called as oversupply of goods and services. If oversupply of goods and services, what happen? The demand reduces. The demand is not there. The price reduces. The price of goods and services reduces, which is called as deflation. And if the price of goods and services decreases, what happen? Small cash flow and profit for the company. Profit are not there for the companies. And if profit are not there for the company, what happen? They will not produce more. So reduction in production, reduction in GDP, reduction in growth. And if reduction in growth, then layout, close down of the factories, no new hiring, no employment. It means increase in unemployment. If increase in unemployment, what happened? Then again that happened, like less spending on goods and services, and then that result into oversupply of goods and services, that result into lower prices. So this phenomena, this spiral is called as deflation spiral, and it is also not good for the economy. This is not good for the economy. Now another type of inflation is imported inflation. What is imported inflation? Like if there are some factors, there are no factors which increase the inflation in our country, but because of increase in inflation in another country from which we are exporting the product, and because of that price increase in our country also, so that is why it is called as imported inflation. It means if petroleum, for example, if petroleum in another country, in Gulf country, the price increasing, we import the petroleum, and because of the petroleum increase in price, what happened? Whatever the product which are dependent on transportation, the price of that product is increasing, and that price increase is called as imported inflation, because it is rise in expenditure on import, and because of that inflation is increasing. So due to increase in price of raw material, here raw material, intermediary goods and final goods imported, the price of our country increasing, that is why it is called as imported inflation. Another phenomena which is called as hidden inflation. Sometime what happen in market, price remain the same, but weight of product, quantity of product, quality of product, shape, size changes. That is called as hidden inflation. Like if you know, like before some time, the Maggi was rupees, the price of Maggi was rupees 10. Then what happened? In 10 rupees, earlier in 10 rupees, 100 gram of Maggi was there, noodles was there. But now price remain the same, but now it is only 80 gram. The weight decreases. So overall, indirectly we can say that the price remain the same, but actually indirectly price is increased. So that is why it is called as hidden inflation. It means price remain the same, but other factors like weight, quantity, quality, shape, size changes. That is why it is called as hidden inflation. So likewise we have another inflation types also, like markup inflation. Like if government is reducing subsidy, what happen? Because of reduction in subsidy, the price increases. That is called as markup theory of inflation, markup inflation. Or if government increase taxes and because of that price increases, it is called as markup inflation. Now because of structure, economic structure is not good, and that is why price increases, then it is called as bottleneck inflation. Like what happened in agriculture? In agriculture, because of defective land tenure system, or because of transportation is not good, agriculture bottleneck, then price increases. That is called as structural inflation. Another type, very important type, is core inflation. What happened in core inflation? The cost of goods and services increases. So it consider, core inflation consider cost of goods and services which are increasing, but it does not consider the cost of food and energy sector. So if we exclude food and energy sector from the total goods and service goods which are having prices, then it is called as core inflation. So core inflation is not considering food and energy sector. Why? What is the reason? Because food and energy sector are variables. the price changes frequently, and because of that it bring instability. So unstable variables are deducted from the inflation calculation, then the remaining figure is called as core inflation. So here it is written what is core inflation. So core inflation exclude those items, because these items which are food and energy sector, because their price are much more volatile. It is often calculating using consumer price index, which is measure of price for the goods and services. So it use the consumer price index, it is not using the prices of food and energy sectors. Another, so this is core inflation here. So all items CPI minus food and energy, and it is equal to core inflation. We can say this. But on the other hand, we have headline inflation. What is headline inflation? So this headline inflation include all the category of goods and services in the price calculation. Like it include food and energy in the CPI. Then it is called as headline inflation. So we can say that goods and services prices are in the headline inflation. It includes the food and energy also. Okay, so this is where we are completing this video. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much. Bye for today.